The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. Okay, let's jump into the Cain thing first, man. Cain, he gets bail. Like, I don't think people expected this to happen.
No.
But it has happened.
Yeah.
And just your thoughts, man, initial thoughts on just watching this all unfold, you know what I mean, the last, year or so, and him actually getting bail.
Yeah, I think he's been locked up for 8 months. As of today, he was locked up for 8 months. I think he should have been home a lot sooner. I think it speaks as super, a massive injustice to not only Cain but his family, and shows you how backwards our justice system is as far as letting someone free who allegedly did certain things to a member of Cain's family. And granted, Cain should have, Cain obviously has to, pay a price for his actions. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he should be scot-free. Like I said in previous interviews, I understand where Cain comes from being a father. Now being a father too, a little boy, a little girl. I understand where he's coming from. I couldn't tell you within 100% certainty that I wouldn't have acted in the same way, because you don't know all the details as far as, what time, when did Cain find out about the alleged thing? Was it premeditated? Wasn't it premeditated? But the whole situation sucks. Cain should have been out a while ago. And I think it really gives an insight to people who aren't in the know as far as who don't deal with the court systems, especially in this country, what the court systems are like as far as you have a court date in 3 months, you show up, and all of a sudden it gets continuance, and you're just like, what's going on? Like, that's how it is in Philadelphia. That's how it is, obviously, in California. I know from being a police officer, I would get court dates for, whatever date. I'd show up, and the ADAs and everyone would be like, I'm ready to go. The defense, they're ready to go. And all of a sudden they're asking for a date because they don't have a piece of paper for discovery, or the defendant wasn't brought down out of jail. So obviously shit like that happens. But it's a tactic that certain defense lawyers use. They'll continue to ask for continuances, hoping that certain people stop showing up, as far as victims, as far as police officers. If I have a case that's been going on for 6 months or 8 months, and it just so happens that the one day that the court case is ready to go, but I'm scheduled vacation, I've been scheduled vacation for 2 weeks. Yeah, I can go in, but if I have a trip planned, I'm not going in. Like, if I'm out of the country, or if I'm, spending time with my family, I'm not going in. So it just gives a little bit of insight of, as far as, the type of tactics and the type of things that we deal with, kind of like I said, the ass backwards part of this country's judicial system. So,
and also Cain, he needs to be on pins and needles while he's free, right? He can't make mistakes.
Yeah, he can't make mistakes. I did see that he has to wear a GPS monitoring system. He's got to be within 300 feet. He has to stay away for 300 feet from, I think it is obviously the person he shot and everyone involved in that party. There's probably other circumstances that he has to follow, probably drug testing and checking in. He's probably got to be home by a certain time. Like, he's got to be in his house by, 10 o'clock at night. He's only allowed to go to certain places. Probably, I think I did see he posted a photo, I think, outside AKA. So he might be allowed to go to AKA. He might be allowed to go to the gym. There's certain stipulations that you're allowed to do, and other things like that. Like, if he had like a career outside of fighting, he could probably, go to work and, go to a friend's house, something like that. But yeah, it's good to see him out. It really is.
This is why the fans need to push for the Daukaus Brothers podcast. Things like that. Like, you have a perspective on certain things that happen in the MMA world that you could delve into, right? Yeah. And I would like to hear that a little bit more. You could do probably an hour by yourself on taking questions from fans, right?
Yeah, if anyone wants any kind of questions, I really can answer them. But, I can only answer them for, through Philadelphia standpoint, through my experiences being a police officer for 10 years in the city. So, But yeah, in my opinion, the judicial system certainly in certain areas needs to be a little bit different. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's a
of
whole
course,
different
of
topic
course.
for
Oh,
another
no
spot.
doubt. No doubt, man. And you know, when you were coming up and in looking at the heavyweight division, how it was
Yeah,
playing out in the UFC before you were in the UFC, were
yeah.
you expecting to maybe possibly fight Cain eventually sometime?
Cain was always like the guy that I really enjoyed watching. He's smaller heavyweight. He could outwork a lot of guys. He was always like, he is, one of my favorite fighters. Was I expecting to fight him? I would hope to fight him. Back when he was, running in the UFC and doing all that. Obviously, timing didn't work. Um, so yeah, it's something that I really enjoyed watching him. Obviously, that's like a dream matchup to fight him, but can't be dealing with the past, man. So yeah, if we had a time machine, I would absolutely go back and try and fight Cain.
For sure, for sure. Now you know you coming up through the ranks, man. You turned pro in 2013, and you've had your share of setbacks throughout your career. When you look back at the changes you made in your life, you know, I mean, like, what do you think were some of the critical changes that you need to make to where you develop into the fight that you are right now, becoming a top 10 heavyweight in the world?
It's just like beginning of my career, like through the amateur career and all that. It was kind of this wasn't treated as a profession. It was kind of like this is what I do, and then I have my profession on the side. It was always something that I wish that would turn into a profession. I just didn't think, um, maybe it's just my personality or the way that the surroundings that where I grew up, people like where we're from don't become top 10 MMA fighters, top 10 people in the world. So I didn't really have any kind of lofty expectations. But once I started seeing that, where I was, making leaps and bounds, and even through my certain setbacks, like you were saying, I started treating it as a profession, as being as professional as I could with the certain things that I could actually control. Like showing up on time for practice, holding other people accountable, the type of effort that I was putting in, and just really just trying to be a professional. Everyone says like, I'm trying to be a professional fighter, but there's really no like blueprint to be a professional fighter besides getting paid, and doing interviews and going on the UFC. But outside of that, there's really like no blueprint on how to be a professional. So I think that was like me trying to figure that out. And once I kind of figured that out, that's really where I started, making leaps and bounds in my career.
When was that turning point, do you think?
Uh, it was probably after I lost to Sean Seed, probably like right around there, or after I lost to Zhuanyawu for the CFFC regional title. I think that's really where I kind of like I was like, all right, I'm tired of fucking losing. Like I need to start making some changes. And then yeah, started taking it super seriously. I mean, like I always took fighting seriously, but to consciously make this my profession, that's when I think that's the around the time when I started like, all right, this is if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I need to be 100% in.
So your side chick became like your main chick. That's
Pretty
what
much.
MMA was, right?
Pretty much, yeah, yeah, pretty much. I was all in on being a cop. I had my own aspirations of like what I wanted to do as far as in law enforcement, whether that was to go to a specialized unit, whether that was to get ranked, become a detective, a sergeant, a lieutenant, whatever that was going to be. My focus then in turn switched to MMA. So that kind of, went to the back burner. I always said that I was going to outrank my father when I retired. Obviously, I've since left the police department. He was a sergeant. I'm just a lonely patrol cop. So he wins on that one. But I think I made it out in the long run a little bit better. So it's good.
Does he give you shit about it?
Nah, nah. Well, he can't say anything. He can't say anything. Like what's he like? He's big as shit. Like he's fucking big. Like my old man's probably he's like 6'8", 300 pounds. I mean, so like, yeah, he's big, but he's He's SWAT dude for fucking 25 years. He's kicking doors, blew his shoulder out recently. That's why he actually left the job. He hit a door, blew his shoulder, blew his elbow out of reconstructive surgery. He's just old, man. He's fucking old. And yeah, so but nah, we're cool. But yeah, that was my thing. I told him that I was gonna outrank him, but I kind of figured that you know, once this UFC thing and this fighting thing really was gonna take off, that I could put that to the wayside and chalk that one up. No big deal for me.
And then your brother's also a UFC fighter, so your dad's just like, what the
Yeah,
hell's going on with my family?
exactly. Yeah, bunch of savages,
Yeah.
bunch of savages in our family. Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
you
over
got
for
SWAT,
Christmas, man. It'll be a
SWAT
great time.
dad,
It'll be
two
yeah.
UFC fighters.
That's it. Come over for Christmas,
yeah.
man. You'll have a great time.
Yeah, don't break into that house, man. Let's skip over that house.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean? This year. Now this fight, man, with Jairzinho, it was
Yeah.
supposed to be happening in June,
October
I believe,
1st.
or October, right?
1st.
October,
Yeah,
October
1st.
1st, and then I spoke to Jairzinho, and he told me that it was on his end why they postponed it for 2
Yeah.
months. You know what I mean? So, and you were understandable about that. So you're just
Yeah,
like,
I'm
all
not.
right,
Yeah,
let's.
yeah. I mean, it was kind of like okay. If he wants to fight, I'll fight him. I told the UFC, I said I'll fight him. If they can find me a replacement for October 1st, I'll take the replacement. If not, it's no big deal. I'll wait. But it wasn't like, I'm like I have to fight Jorginho. It's not anything like that. I mean, if he was gonna, if he got hurt or whatever was gonna happen with him, then okay, it's no skin off my back. I don't care. I just want to fight. So it doesn't matter really who I fight.
I look at where you guys are ranked in the
Yeah.
in the division, right? He's at number 9, you're at number 11, so pretty much you guys are battling for who gets a crack at one of those bigger names next year, early next year, right? You got like a Tai Tuivasa,
Yeah.
a Derek, even a Derek Lewis rematch could be a possibility for yourself if
Maybe.
you win this
Yeah.
fight. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good matchups in that top 10.
Yeah.
You had more time to prepare for Jairzinho. Does that change anything for you?
No. Just tightening in the whole game plan up. I'm not changing anything up crazy. It just gives me more time to work on the things that we originally planned on working with. So I'm fine with whether I have a 8-week camp or if another shit. It was like 10 weeks when I got the October 1st call. So 10 weeks plus another 2 months. So like what, 20 months? Excuse me, 20 weeks. So I'm cool with a 20-week camp. That's fine with me. Take a week or two off, but yeah, no. I mean, nothing changes. The road to victory doesn't change. It's just a longer road. So I'm fine with it.
Do you bring in kickboxers to
Yes.
emulate them?
Yeah. Not to emulate him. Brought in an Italian kickboxer, Jordan. My guy Jordan. My brother is also working with him. So he's like really open to not only my eyes, not only my brother's eyes, but really everyone that he's been working with in the gym. He was here for a full month leading up to that fight. We had him here from I think it was the whole month of August. He was in Philadelphia. He was staying with the coach. I was training with him twice a day for a whole month, so I was ready to go. But yeah, he had to go back to Italy. He's got his own gym over there. He'll be in my corner. He'll be in my brother's corner, and we'll be working together. We call each other through the WhatsApp and all that good stuff. So it's not like I'm not talking to this dude. I'm not working on game plan with him or anything like that. So it's really like he never left. I mean, obviously without him holding pads and working, physically being there, but yeah, it's awesome. Love that dude.
What type of storm are you expecting, man? Because it's gonna be a storm. You bring it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he brings it, and
yeah.
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Yeah. So I fully like this is what people don't really like consider or like think about is like when I fight, at least when with me, I fully expect not to come out of that fight the same person. I say goodbye to my family. I say goodbye to my wife and kids. I don't plan on looking this way ever again. I don't plan on anything on Dude, I'll have a vacation planned after the fight. But as far as like after parties or going out like the next following week, I fully expect to just be in the worst possible shape. I fully expect my face to be rearranged. I fully expect to have broken bones, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, that type of lifestyle, this type of lifestyle. That's just what I expect out of every fight. I mean, we're heavyweights. This is MMA. Things happen, and you have to be able to accept that. And I think that's part of my mentality leading up to not only this fight, but really every fight going in, especially against the top guys in the world. I mean, anything could really happen, but I'm willing to walk through hell to get that win. And if he wants to meet me halfway, he can meet me halfway. I know that he's going to be looking to counter and do certain things, and we're going to try and capitalize on that. I'm not trying to. I don't want to. I don't want to fight of the night. I don't want to fight of the year thing like that. I want a fucking performance of the night and me knocking his ass out or me choking his ass out. I would much rather get them than a fight of the night, because a fight of the night means that I was getting my ass whooped and he was getting his ass whooped too. So I'd much rather just knock him the fuck out. So yeah, that would be a lot better.
When you talk about that right now, this is the most interesting part of fighting to me, is your acceptance of taking just an insane amount of damage and being comfortable with that. Do you think that certain fighters they don't come to terms with that, and that's why you see guys give up? Because certain guys, you see them give up in that cage.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was to me accepting like just fighting. I accepted, like, not to get like morbid and shit, but being a cop in Philadelphia, I accepted my death a long time ago. So I mean, I always thought that if I didn't get out of the police department, within like 15 years, that after that was really it. Like I was gonna die somewhere in North Philly street or an alleyway or something like that. I became really comfortable with my own death. I became comfortable with accepting the things that I don't have control of. Yeah, and I fully expect, like you said, I think some fighters have an expectation. Now, granted, you have to have that mentality of, I fully expect to win. I fully expect to run through this guy. I fully expect it to not to touch me in any facet. But what happens when when it doesn't work out? What happens when you get dumped on your head? What happens when he starts touching you up on the feet and you can't do anything about it? Like, what happens then? People break. And you have to accept all possibilities that things are not going to go your way. And I think that a training camp is about doing the things that you do well and what will work well against your opponent. But you also have to spend a lot of time in the worst possible positions and accept that you're going to be in those worst possible positions. Like, I'm fully expecting to be in the worst possible position in this fight. And if I'm not, awesome, great, cool. But, I mean, I fully expect to, be, on my back with him trying to knock me the fuck out. Like, with my head scrunched up against the cage. Like, that's the worst possible position is for me to be on my back with him landing big blows on top, or him trying to knock my head off in a dominant position. That is the worst possible thing. And if I can accept that and be comfortable in that fire, in those positions, and work myself through that mentally, then he can't really break me in there.
So basically, you're breaking yourself so your opponent can't break you.
You can't. Yeah.
Man,
I mean,
that's wild.
Yeah, if it's really this, like, that's really just all it is. Like, no man can do anything worse than what I could do to myself. Like, if I could push myself to where I throw up during workouts, or I quit, or I'm having that feeling that, like, I want to quit during a practice, or I'm getting fucking choked, like it's 8 minutes, like it's an 8 minute round and people are on my back, and then every time I get subbed, a new person comes out, or every time I get out, someone else is jumping on my back. Like, those days suck, man. Like, those are the worst possible days, or like people are like grinding on your face, like those, like, that sucks. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with dealing with that shit, because I know that I can get through that stuff. I can get through that in the practice room. I can get through that in a fight. So we deal. It's 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes. I'll be fine.
All right, man. Before I let you go, there's one fight I want to talk to you about.
All right.
Which is the super fight between Alex Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. You said, if Islam wins the title, that there will be no other lightweight that would be able to hang with them. And it's kind of like it's kind of coming true what you just said, because they're not even putting a lightweight against them. They're going to try to make a super fight and bring the featherweight champ up to lightweight. What do you think of this matchup?
First off, I'm not apologizing to anyone. So everyone get the fuck out of my DMs or tagging me on shit. I'm not apologizing to anyone about anything. Nothing about nothing. No. I'm not apologizing to anything. And if people really did read the interview or listen to the interview that we said, that we did, I said that if Islam runs through Charles, much like he did, no one in the 155-pound division is going to be able to do anything or get that belt off it. So people need to stop reading headlines and delve a little bit deeper on that. But Volk, he looks like a fucking bowling ball. I don't know. I'm not making any predictions because last time I made a prediction, everyone freaked the fuck out. So listen, I like Volk. I like Volk. I'm a huge fan of Volk. I'm a huge fan of all the CKB guys. I like all them. I hope he pulls it out because I think he's pound for pound is number one right now. I think he is right now, pound for pound. People are saying that, Islam should be pound for pound higher. I think he's like number 3 right now. But I just don't think that, obviously, I think that for you to be in the pound for pound rankings, you have to be a champ and you have to sustain that status for a while for that to be considered. Like, for you to even be considered in that. Like, you can't just win the title and then all of a sudden, he's on the pound for pound list. No. I think that you should at least, if you're going to be champ, you be champ, and you defend it a couple times for you to be even considered to be on that. So, recap. I'm not making another prediction. I'm not apologizing to anybody. I hope Volk wins. And I'm not. That's it. All of it. Yeah.